How many wise men are there? Does anybody have a clue on that? How many wise men? Yeah.
Three?
Three? You absolutely sure? No? Okay. Well, we don't know, to be honest with you. The Gospels really don't say how many arrived. I just actually learned that little fact about 3 years ago, and I've been reading the Gospels for a little bit of time. And if you look, yeah, it doesn't say a word about if there's 1, 2, 3. However, we know that there are 3 gifts, right, that the wise men bring. We know there's gold, right? We know there's frankincense, and the last one? Myrrh. What is myrrh? I have no idea, to be honest with you. Actually, myrrh is something that they anoint a body with, or they did anoint a body with, and was very, very precious spice for the body. So how they came about that fantastic number of 3 is through the gifts. And they figured, well, each one could carry one. What we do know about the wise men, or the magi, is that they were not from Israel. They were not Jews, and that's important. This feast today, the Solemnity of Epiphany, has been kind of overshadowed by Christmas, let's face it. But unless we realize the significance of this great day, we see only one side of the mystery of the incarnation of Christ coming to us. Now, after contemplating the staggering fact that God has become a human child, which blows my mind, we turn to look at this mystery from the opposite angle and realize that this helpless child is in fact the omnipotent God, the king and ruler of the universe. If that doesn't blow you away, or the idea, I think we may need to sit with it a little bit more. It's fantastic. The Feast of Christ's divinity completes the feast of his humanity. It fulfills all our Advent longings for the King who is to come. When we sang over and over again, O come, Emmanuel," I think we sing it every Sunday in Advent in one fashion or another. We see that Christmas is a time of family. It's a family feast for Christianity. But Epiphany is a great world feast for the church. Epiphany is a complex feast, originating in the East, I might add. The Western Church caught up in the 900s. But it is from the Eastern Church that Epiphany comes from. It's like an oriental tapestry in which the various themes are woven and interwoven, now to be seen in their historical setting, again to be viewed as a different vantage point with a very mystical significance. Divine manifestation, Jesus coming to us. The word epiphany takes its name from the Greek epiphania, which denotes the visit of a God to earth. The first idea of the feast is that manifestation of Christ as the Son of God, begotten before all beings. Today, we celebrate Epiphany, and next week, the baptism of Christ in the Jordan, and also his first miracles at the wedding feast of Cana. What do all these things, these 3 things, have to do with Epiphany? The baptism is very important next week when John, over there in the bottom corner, bottom square, baptizes our Lord. And at that point, the heavens open, and for the first time, man sees the Trinity. Right? Next week, we will see the Trinity in action, historically for the first time. It's always been there, but it manifests itself next week, so stay tuned. We see God the Father saying, "This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased." John the Baptist baptizes Christ, and he realizes, oh my God, this is a guy I can't even change his shoes. But he does. He is baptized. And at that point, the Holy Spirit comes in the form of a dove on Jesus. It's a very powerful Sunday, the baptism of the Lord, because, as I said, the manifestation of the Trinity is found. And then again, we see Jesus at the wedding of Cana. Jesus at this beautiful wedding. And what happens at the wedding of Cana? Do you remember what happens? They run out of wine. Oh my God. Have you ever been to a dinner party where they run out of wine? It's got to be embarrassing, let's face it. And who starts Jesus' ministry, really, when we think about it? Mary. It is Mary who starts the ball rolling for Jesus' ministry. It is his first miracle, the wedding of Cana. And poor Mary, she's like, oh my God, they've run out of wine. And what does she tell the servants? Do whatever he tells you. Do whatever he tells you. And we know that the jugs, the big jugs were filled, and the first miracle of Jesus happened. The first miracle is an epiphany that we know for a fact that this is no ordinary guy, right? This is Jesus the Christ. No one could do this, change water into wine like this. And in fact, they said this was the best wine. Why did you save the choice wine for the end? They usually would get them drunk on the good wine at the beginning, and at the end they give them the absolute, I don't want to say vinegar, but the cheapest type of bottle that they had. But he saved the choice wine for the end. And later on, we will also see a great manifestation. A manifestation for the apostles, really, when he takes them up to Mount Tabor for the transfiguration, where Jesus is turned to dazzling white. This is also a manifestation or an epiphany that this is no ordinary guy. And in your life, in our lives as Christians, we have to realize that Jesus is not just a prophet, as some may say. He's not just one of the wise men, as people sometimes will say. That's an important part of today in Epiphany. His kingship, that he will one day rule all of the nations. It is said, your light has come. Your light has come for all of the nations for this feast. During Advent, the world was in darkness, right? In fact, we had the darkest days of the year. They changed the clocks back to compound the madness. And at 3:30 in the afternoon, if it's not too sunny out, we're in darkness. At 3:30, I have to get my shopping done before 3 o'clock because I hate driving in the dark. And now, that Advent darkness of waiting is gone. And Christmas has come, and that small light sitting in the manger illumines our hearts. That little child who comes, the Son of Mary, comes to earth, and the spark begins. And now, with Epiphany and the visit of the Magi, that spark will ignite to all the world. That is the meaning of the Magi. They come from all over the world, and they will ignite the Spirit of God in all countries. Today, we celebrate this wonderful and great mystery given to us by the Eastern Church and now adopted by the Western Church. Let us wait for that light to come in our life. Amen.